I built a Viking house on a mountain, here on Arcadia. Hello everyone, I'm Huskerman and welcome back to another video. Now I have a fully finished starter base here, and I think today is the time to move on, to find new lands and to build new places. Been a while since I've been here on Arcadia, but here's what I've been up to. I got myself a little farmstead based on old Nordic farms. Now as a final send off for the starter base here, I thought I'd bring you guys on a tour of the place, so let's take a look. So at the front we've got a massive field of wheat to fuel all our bread needs, some beautiful big birch trees courtesy of Taffy. Going into the garden, I added lots of plants and decor all over the place. The first building we have here is the storehouse, and this is the place I've been using to store all my stuff, and it's getting a little cramped right now, but it did its job for the time I needed it to. Going upstairs, I built a little weavery, so we have a spinning wheel, a sewing machine, and a loom to create all the glorious textiles and banners. Next up is my little barn where I keep my animals. I'm really happy with how earthy and woody the feel of these buildings turned out. I hope the little guys in there like it as much as I do. And under the birch tree of doom, I have a nice place to sit down and have a coffee and eat some waffles. It's super cozy, and now I want waffles. Now, heading down to the river here, we have the mill. See, the big wheat field outside wasn't all for nothing, was it? No, I built myself a cute little mill here to process the grains. Now, I know we can't really make flour in Minecraft, but you know what? I don't care. I just build whatever my imagination takes me to. We have a Ford F-150 here. Hey, I just said it's all about imagination, didn't I? And here is my tiny little house, fit for a true Norseman, aka hobbits with boats. Now, inside here we have a little fireplace, flower cross stitches on the wall, a little place to sit, and a nice little bedroom with a cat, of course. A neat little house indeed. And at the back here I have a nice little place to chop some wood, paths going around, and a nice potato field. You gotta have potatoes. I'm also surrounded by all these talented people like Taffy's goblin core little stump and Triss's mushroom over there, and some of these big scaly birds in the air. But what I want to do now is to take this another step further. I want to make a Nordic / Skyrim inspired village in a valley, and I have just the area for it, so let's head over there and take a look. This is the new area, or well, the portal area. The portal area in which I share with my wifey, Sweet Taffy. And we live on either side of this little mountain section right here. Smack in the middle here, Taffy and I are planning to build a nice little area for our portal. We're gonna fill this in with a lake and take inspirations from each of our build styles, being Elven and Nordic inspired. From this area out to each of our areas, we'll have huge tunnels like the one right here. Mine doesn't exist yet, but we'll change that in the next episode. Now over to where I am planning to build my wonderful Viking settlement. A wonderful deep valley, rich in plant life, at the base of a magnificent snowy mountain. Just like in Norway. I feel so at home here. Farmsteads, longhouses, a wooden castle maybe? Lots of ideas to do here. But you know what would make me feel even more at home? Well, a home. So that's what we're doing next. What this video is actually about. Building an awesomely sick Viking house with dragons on it. So for that, I'm gonna have to do some terraforming, do some building, and all that sort of stuff. Now, of course, all my stuff is still at my old base, so we gotta get it moved over here so I can get started building. It's time to pull out the shulker boxes and get packing. Boop boop chest monster. Now that that's all out of the way, we can get to building. So let's get started. To start off here, I want to terraform the area. I'm flattening out the section of the base of the mountain here in order to get the lower ground. I decided to do this in order to increase the height of the mountain relative to the ground, and to make sure the tunnel through the mountain that I want to build in the next video has a nice place to come out through the mountain. I made sure the terrain looked natural and made a little cliff face at the back to make it interesting. Now over to the build itself. Put it on this night's outcropping where I think it will shine the most. Starting off with the foundation here, I used dark oak logs in a pattern around the entire building and filled in a wall with deep slate cobble and mossy cobblestone. Next up, I shaped where I wanted the entrance part to be, and then I filled in the floor of the first floor of the building with spruce planks. And for the walls, I continued the dark oak log pattern going around the side of the build, and I filled it in with a nice wood texture, with oak wood, stripped spruce, and spruce planks. I also put in windows going around the entire building. I wanted the texture of these to feel like it was built up of timber almost. I decorated the sides of the windows with flowers, shutters, and awnings. Then I started working on the roof of the entrance section, adding a dragon head on top of the edge of the roof. This is one of my favorite things to add onto builds, and let me know if you want a tutorial in the comments below. And I also added these on each side of the main roof here, and I loved how it turned out. For the roof itself, I wanted to imitate a shingled roof that was dark in color, so I went for for blackstone and some deep slate variants. I wanted to do something more with the short sides of the build. I added in a lower section that is an overhang that I'm going to build a path underneath. I took some inspiration from old Norwegian stave churches and I did some layered roof sections. And I really feel like this added a nice aggressive silhouette to the build together with the dragons on the rooftop. I carried the overhang around the other side of the build where I added another entrance section where I'm going to put a door into the basement. And in my opinion, this added some nice shape to the build. I went ahead and repeated the same layered roof design on the other side of the build and started building the fences under the overhang using lecterns and spruce trapdoors. I had to mess around with the design here a bit, but after some trying and failing, I finally landed on something I liked. With nice square holes from the oak trapdoors and some fences above, I think I managed to make it look interesting and yet fit into the style. Then I textured the pathway going around the entire build to make it all come together and to get a much more complete feel. Now I'm gonna be adding a lot more things here as I go along, because you never know when little ideas might pop up, and I like being creative with my builds even after they're done. Now onto the interior we go. I want the inside of the build to be open but still have extra floor space on different floors, so I went with adding a loft on either side of the build, building it up with pillars and carrying through the Viking feel and making it feel warm and rustic inside. I textured up the pillars with barrels and added trapdoors, buttons and lanterns to add interest to the pillars, and added a great campfire in the middle to keep us warm in the mountain weather. Next up, I made my storage room and a little crafting area with a bit of a workbench design where I'll be doing all my crafting. Then I went into the basement and added in walls and a nice textured stone floor. I also added a nice edge around my doors here. I left the place mostly empty for now as I will be adding more stuff in here later. And there we go. The build is done. And I'm super happy with how it came out. There's just something about this build that really just feels like me. Finally. I've got a nice main floor here with a storage room and a nice extended workbench with my ender chest right there. Got some upstairs areas here and a wonderful campfire, a little reading area, and a basement ready to go. I've got so many plans here and I can't wait for this place to feel more lived in. And this is just the start of what's to come in this world. I'm gonna have a kingdom out here in no time. I just can't wait to keep on building. Speaking of which, I've got some plans on what to do for the next episode. I have a tunnel I need to make. As you saw earlier, Taffy has a wonderful tunnel that goes to our portal area. And well, I just have this. And I can't just have that. It's boring. So in the next video, we're gonna make this tunnel ours. And it's gonna be great. Now that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you wanna see more of my content. And if you like building and you wanna see more, check out one of my videos on screen. I'm Huskerman and I'm out.